I decided to put out this little story today because what I saw today was an example why there's a lot of demoralization in the military. And it was a story being related by a veteran, retired veteran, a colonel, female colonel, who was a chaplain. I think she was in the Army. And some of the yarns she gave in these stories about her victimization was part of it, but there were some blatant things in there that were obviously lies. And she was giving the story to mostly older women who weren't really aware of the details, behind what she was talking about. But I got a real good picture that, she was a thorn in the side to the people that were active duty at the time, and they really couldn't stand her. That's what I was really picking up. Now, I'm not saying that all women in the military, well, you know what? I got my own theories on, what the military should use and not, but, I think women should be breeding warriors, and that's my old school way of doing things. But anyway, at the Gaslight Cafe, this chick looks cool. I'll go along with her. This colonel was nothing like this one here hanging out at the Gaslight Cafe. This one looks cool, but she was more in line with this one here, Hillary. Like a lifelong governmental worker. And I always look at it like this. You know what the problem is with today's military? It is a governmental worker. Now, there's people in there that are doing things as individuals, and that's because they're individuals, and that's how they are. It's not because of the organization. They give credit to the organization, and the organization takes credit for what they do, and, it boosts everybody else that wears the same uniform. But the reality is, it's the individual that really makes the organization. It's not the other way around. Basically the military is a governmental organization. It's almost like same like you're employed like politicians do. It might be a little more stressful, but it's not that special because it's the individual that makes it special. The individual's screwed up, that's just how they are. If their individual's great, that's how they are. If they're both wearing the same uniform, it reflects either way. Now, her story was this. She was a retired chaplain. She says, call me Chappie. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, call me Chappie, but as long as you pay me at 06 pay rate. Well, she gave this story. She says, I was a woman in there in the male's environment, and we're going to go out on a run out in the desert, and we're going to run to this hill. And the males were saying, well, if you don't keep up, we'll have you in the back, and you can just fall back a little ways. And I'm using Hillary's picture because it reminds me of the same type. I can do it. And Hillary's freaking strong now. I'm going to tell you, right, she'll come right back at you, but she's delusional. And this is how this lady was. I consider her delusional. Her story was she was out there running, and she goes, little do they know I could run really far and all that stuff. Maybe she could. But this is where the story really took a real wacky turn. She said they ran into some coyotes. And what happened was all the, I guess they're Army, the guys, they ran up into the trees. Which I start thinking, trees in the desert, yeah, there could be, but usually they're not too many. Usually they're like little scrubby trees or bushes. They're not really tall trees, but they climbed up in the trees to get away from the coyotes. There was a whole pack of them. And the coyote pack was surrounding her, and the leader was snarling at her. Now, I'm going to tell you, this whole story stinks to high heaven right there. Because maybe if you're not familiar with coyotes. But, I used to run every single day out in Camp Pendleton, 8 miles a day out in the hills, right? And I used to sometimes do longer runs on the weekend or take the mountain bike. And I could tell you, if you run into wild dogs, those aren't coyotes. They can go after you. I remember a couple wild dogs went after me on a mountain bike, and I put it on afterburners, and I got the hell out of there because they wanted to bite me and stuff, But coyotes are like, they're scared of you. I mean, I was out there running alone all the time, and usually there'd be a pack of coyotes in like the scrubby bush in a ravine, and then you'd hear them. even in the daytime, even though they're nocturnal animals, they usually don't come out during the day. You'll see them sometimes during the day. They'll run away from you. If you see a coyote out there, it's maybe 30 feet away, throw a rock at it. It'll take off. And I seen it where there was a bunch of them, maybe 15 feet away from me, and they were all in the on the side of like the road. You know, it's like a fire break road or some garbage, and they were in the bushes. You know, like I don't know what the hell they call them out there in Southern California. They're scrubby bushes. It's basically freaking desert, but they got some. The green grows in where the trenches are. You know, and they're scared of you. They run away. This lady said they were all circling her, and all the males were up in the trees. And I'm thinking, you know, if there's a bunch of people out there running, even one person would scare a pack of coyotes away. That's how it is. I think recently, maybe I heard in Los Angeles County, they're starting to get less afraid of people, but it's extremely rare that anybody is even attacked by a coyote. The coyotes go after like rabbits and cats. Well, I don't think about that, but and mice or something like that. And you know, they can attack people's pets. They could do that, but they don't go after big people. You know. So she is basically, you know, making up a entire story. Now, the story gets really juicy later. Beyond this, she goes, she's getting surrounded by these pack of coyotes. The guys are all up in the trees because they're scared. And the leader comes up to her and he's snarling. And she's making up a story off of like Little Red Riding Hood and a wolf or something. I don't know what she's doing there. And she's a chaplain. This is what gets me. A colonel, '06, retired on active, you know, money from the USA going into her pocket. And I guarantee she aggravated the heck out of people for years. And she goes and she starts talking to the coyote. And she puts like the spirit of God into him. And the coyote lays down. Then she tells the coyote to go. And the coyote takes off with the pack. And she saved the day. I'm like, boy, this lady is out. I mean, and the woman listened to her like she's true. I'm like, holy smokes, I can't believe this. And she gave another story where a woman was so destitute, she didn't have any money, and she was putting gallon jugs of water into her gas tank of her car. This is what the chaplain colonel was saying. And the woman who was so poor was doing this. She goes, why are you putting water in the gas tank? Well, I can't afford gasoline. I figure I can get more mileage doing this. So the colonel gives her $20 for gasoline, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, she's showing that she's real generous with her big '06 salary. And I'm thinking to myself, as soon as you put water in a gasoline in a car, the gasoline goes to the bottom, the water goes to the bottom, the gasoline floats. The first thing that comes into the fuel line is water, and you got to drain the whole gas tank basically to get it out of there. And I'm thinking, you know, she's acting like it didn't even do anything, you know. So, I mean, she had a lot of stories out there about, and there was a story that she got spit in the face by a male and said, "You're a disgrace," and stuff like that. And I realized something must have happened to him. That's what she said. Something must have happened to him that he was motivated to do this. He really didn't do it against me. That's what she was thinking. I was thinking, he probably really did do it against her, and this is her story. And I'm thinking, she must have been a work of art. But you know what happens? They are afraid in the military. Once they're tasked with, you better get more of this type or that type in the military, they're afraid. They just push them through. So I don't know whoever did her fitness reports, fit reps, was basically giving her great marks all the time, so she got rank. She walked on water, and you'll hear these stories all the time in the military, but it's extremely demoralizing. And I'll tell you one thing, I will not, today, I know somebody asked me last month to go into the Marine League, and I think they were a squared away person that asked me to do this. I think I don't have any disrespect for them. but I will not join the Marine League, period, because they're just an extension of the lifers that played political correct during the time I was in, and I couldn't stand these people because I'm not a sellout. And, I think anybody that swore an oath to a blatantly communist president is not a Marine. Sorry. But, I had to give this story because I was like, that really got me about, the coyotes were surrounding me. Coyotes? Are you talking about Timberwolf animals like out there in, someplace in way up there in Alaska or something? The Timberwolf? No, coyotes. Coyotes? You got to be kidding me. You throw a rock at a coyote, the whole pack goes, beer. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're starting to get. Maybe right now, I had to look this up online too because they says maybe something's changing. But even the information online says they're scared of people. But except in L.A. County, where people start feeding them like dodos, yeah, look, the little coyote. So they're losing their fear of humans, I don't really like coyotes, man. God. I mean, remember that cartoon, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner? But, everything in the military is about money. And it's not just like the Pentagon money, but it's everybody else's money. Everybody's got a careerist mentality. And I'm really just, I wouldn't even tell anybody to join the military today. It's not like, oh, thank you for your service. Ugh. Yeah, what service? Even when you bust your butt in the military, usually you're just protecting somebody's error rate or some garbage, the reports, and how making somebody else look good so they get rank or some. It's garbage. I mean, it's like there's so much fraud, waste, and abuse that goes on in the military. It's beyond belief. I mean, they throw ammo right off freaking ships, and because there's too much that doesn't jive with the report. The report says we have this much, but we really got this much, so it looks like we can't account for it. Just throw it overboard, I mean, they bury stuff in supplies and stuff just because it doesn't agree with the reports. I mean, there's loads of stuff. There's officers that used to fly over the Red Sea. They fly over it. They get in a plane. They get in a plane, fly over the Red Sea because they were on some kind of per diem trip or some, I don't know, like touring something. But when they fly over the Red Sea, since they flew over the Red Sea, it was deemed at that time they'd be eligible for combat duty pay. And they get the combat duty pay. And the record shows they were in the combat zone for so long, all they have to do is fly over the Red Sea once a month. They're playing that game left and right. There's a lot of garbage like this I see go on. And, they'd have so much of this per diem or something left over, so you go fly out to Korea to buy gifts for the family at discount. And, and you see these people and they come out in a uniform, you're all impressed, and they're giving a speech. Well, I don't know. You don't really know. I really don't give a crap about it. I mean, but when I saw it today, it was like, holy smokes, this was beyond belief. And, the fact that she let out that, a male, whatever, spit in her, if he did or didn't, or it's just her story, it just tells me that she was probably hated. And there was nothing nobody could do about it because they were trying to push, an agenda, gotta have more females in the military, And, honestly, I can tell you if the situation was the other way around, but if there was right now, I know it got to the point where everybody's scared of females practically. Don't even talk to them the wrong way, they're going to burn you. But the reality is that, if they didn't have the rules like that, there'd be a lot of victimization of females, but it kind of goes it went the other way. And it's really a mess, to tell you the truth. But basically, there's a lot of... But I can tell you one more story here. You wouldn't believe this, but it's true as all hell. I wasn't going to bring this up. But on the opposite side, I could see there's one thing I saw when a woman had a real beef with this one situation that was in the military. This was in Picatinny Arsenal, New Jersey. they have like in a government, they'll have these pay grades like GS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what it goes up to. I think it goes up to at least 15. Like if you're a GS 10 or 12, you're getting some serious. You're pretty up there, and you got some pretty good money, right? I don't know if it's like serious. It's not Wall Street money, but it's pretty good money, right? And but then past the GS ranks, they have. I'm leading up to something. They have a rank. They have a well, it's not a rank. It's like a pay grade for governmental workers. They have an SES. That's past. It's above GS 15, right? I don't know where GS goes up to at least 15. It's an SES. So this quote unquote woman. Now I know if YouTube might get mad if you're saying quote unquote woman, but she was giving a speech to women and instructing people in all women how to make it in a male world. This SES was a direct assistant to one of the generals on Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey, right? That SES, the reason I say quote unquote woman, was a male, was a man who had a sex change and is a transgender woman. And she was instructing women who worked in Picatinny Arsenal government on a base on how to make it as a woman in a male environment from a previous male that had a sex change to a woman who made it to SES. And a woman like, holy smokes. Now, I could see that was really bad for them. That government is lunacy. The whole freaking thing is screwed up. This is what all your tax money's going to. And you think, when you're looking at the big slice of the pie, where all the money's going to defense. Oh, it's going to defense. Well, part of your money went to Chappie. Part of your money went to this SES. There's loads of this stuff. And it isn't just like, we got this deal with Lockheed Martin. They're going to freaking develop this bomb that we don't need, because even though we got 10,000 million types of this same thing over here, there's that type of freaking junk going on. It's stupid. It really is. I mean, the whole thing. Thank you for your service. Oh, could I have a discount for my Sprint PCS phone? Because I was in the military and I served. When I went to Lowe's and I picked up my concrete over here, my rebar, my blocks for my Confederate flag, the guy's over there, he noticed one of my ID cards in there, right? And he says, oh, did you apply, did you register as a veteran? I said, no. Well, you should. You can get a 10%. I said, I ain't registered. Screw that 10%. I mean, it's like, yeah, I lose the 10%, but I'm like, how about not paying how about I don't pay the sales tax? I'd even like that better so I could choke the government out of some money. I don't, well, you can get the 10% off here. I said, well, what about all the stuff they sell on this Lowe's that's made in China? Why is this guy, he's so patriotic, why is he getting the junk from China? Half the freaking tools in here are made in half. Freaking 90% of them are made in China. You don't even see channel locks made in USA from Pennsylvania in Lowe's, right? So, I don't take these BS freaking military discounts. Thank you for your service. Yeah, right. I got fed up. That's why I won't join the Marine League. No way in hell. Unless they issue a statement against Obama for a starter, they can use Clint Eastwood's statement about why he didn't vote for him. At least the guy was honest, man. More honest than a Marine. I'm not all Marines, but like I said, it's the individual. It's never the entity. It's the individual. So, anyway, just want to give you this story, and this is really why we're probably gonna have some serious problems if technology fails in the military one of these days, and see they find a way to jam all these high-tech weapons, and it comes down to like, boots on the ground and freaking who can shoot better. Well, and who can freaking go without food for 30 days and still fight. You know what I mean? Who's got that fortitude and stamina? There ain't too much of that because everybody's out there just grabbing the money. They're more interested, like, there's more people that are, I know a lot of people don't like Hillary, but some people love her, but most people, I don't know, whatever it is, maybe my channel, they don't like her. But, the thing is, they're very, very aggressive when it comes to getting more money to make another notch for their career or entitlements or retirement pay or whatever, but not aggressive at all when it comes down to actual principles. There are no principles. That's a lot of people in the military. Not all of them. Not all of them. But the ones that are best of the best of the best of the military, you won't see them going around with 30 years as all full pay and benefits still, or 75% of their salary, giving crazy speeches like that woman did. It'll be the guy that's broke, that was a veteran, still wearing parts of his uniform. He'll give you his last dollar to help you out. Those kind of people, you don't hear. They don't make speeches. It's like I can't knock the military because the ones that put a lot into it, I'm not knocking them. You see, but you gotta really think about what the essence of the whole situation is. It's the individual that is good or bad. The organization itself is a government entity, and it's actually what George Washington warned against. Standing armies in times of peace are very dangerous to freedom and liberty. That's really and people today are kind of worshiping this. Well, they're here to protect us. Maybe, maybe not. That's why everybody's supposed to, actually in Switzerland, and also even Israel, people could own any kind of weapon because everybody's the military. That's what it's supposed to be here in the United States. Democrats, otherwise known as communists, are vehemently against that because they're very much for total control. And the Republicans are all up Wall Street's wazoo, right? So, you don't have much choice around here in the government to fix anything. And honestly, I just want to say this. I never wore a MAGA hat. I never gave Trump any money for politics or nothing. I was vehemently against this Hillary. And I was always unsure about Mr. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, in the beginning. But now I realize he is legit. And it's a good damn thing we got him as president because it's going to give us a few more years that this country may survive. But if he does not become president in 2020, the country's not going to survive. And I'm going to tell you right now, the way the military is today, there are good people in there, but it's gotten to be the point where it's like critical mass, that if something catastrophically went wrong, it would fold up. I don't think there'd be enough people that are really good people that would hold it together, as it was in World War II or something. That's called the disintegration of, the strength, hardiness, and rugged individualism of the American spirit has been sapped out of American youth for a long time. Not everybody, but far more like that today than there was in yesteryear. And so the writing's on the wall. And the ones that don't think it's on the wall, usually the big money people in Wall Street, but they're going to get it too. They're going to get it too. But that was a very interesting. I was like listening to this lady, and I remarked at the table, where I was sitting. She was totally full of it. I said that when I was there. I was like, no way, coyotes don't do that type of stuff. And I was rolling my eyes at a lot of crap she was saying. And I said to myself, I think the only true statement she said was probably the part that she got spit on, but that was because they were really disgusted with this woman. She was bad news. She's totally delusional, like Hillary Clinton. Like, I'm here to save everybody, and I love, you got to worship me. And that's what she was about. Me, 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 me. But you know why they got that type? Because the careerists in the military follow whatever kind of political correctness is being tasked that they have to implement. And, those are the type of people that go through the ranks and they get way the hell up there and then they retire and then they go in the Marine League. It's all something, like I said, I'm never going in that garbage for that reason. I'm kind of even, I'm just an individual, and I don't go in with, I don't like to follow the crowd just because the crowd's doing something. I know that's usually the mentality of most people, but that's not how I roll. As a matter of fact, usually if the crowd's doing something, that kind of turns me off. So, a little bit like Jim Morrison, break on through to the other side. Be your own individual. Anyway, over and out. And that's just a long story about several things, actually, about the stuff that goes on. The American military is not what it used to be. Actually, probably the biggest change happened under quote-unquote conservative Ronald Reagan when he went to all volunteer. Because what they did was they gave some people more money to attract people so they need a draft, which meant that now people are in there because of money. Not all about money, but that's some people, that's mainly what they're there for. And that's not the type of people you want defending the nation. That really, in essence, is a mercenary force. When Russia throws some barbs at us that the U.S. military is mercenary, there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. It's not like total BS all the way. We need to go back to 1776 standards or Confederate standards when we just all take charge of defending our own homeland as individuals and don't have the government do it for us. Then we don't have to pay this big slice out of the federal expenditures to Department of Defense, to pay for the golf courses and the horseback riding and the bowling alleys and all the other garbage that's out there for morale, but it costs like a gazillion dollars. But no rifle ranges. Oh no. Rifle ranges, very difficult to get out on the range. Very easy to go to a bowling alley, very easy to go to a golf course. So that's the kind of garbage I used to see on the military in the bases. And I wanted to go to the rifle range. I used to go there every weekend, but it was like I had to figure out how to do it, and I found out, a good friend of mine, it was a chief warrant officer who used to be a range officer. We used to go out there all the time and shoot. And, I spent my own money on that stuff. I didn't play golf. I worked out a lot, and I shot. I figured, hey, I ain't here to get killed. I'm here to go shoot the other guys and go home. So I want to know how to do it real good. That's the way I'm thinking. Pure logic. Anyway, over and out.